The vast observation chamber of the interstellar selection arena hummed with quiet tension. Light from the distant stars filtered through the giant transparent dome above, casting faint silver reflections on the polished floor. Aliens of every shape, size, and color filled the seats, their eyes fixed on the enormous screen at the front. Humans, usually overlooked in the galaxy's competitions, sat quietly in a small cluster near the center, feeling the weight of centuries of doubt pressing on their shoulders. Commander Lyra Dolan walked slowly down the aisle, her boots echoing in the silent room. Her sharp eyes scanned the crowd, catching the subtle whispers and sideways glances of the alien delegates. Some were tall and imposing, their skin shimmering with natural armor. Others had delicate wings or multiple limbs, each one a testament to the galaxy's infinite diversity. Yet, it was not beauty or strength that today would decide the future. It was the blood match results, the final measure of who could become the next guardian of the Interstellar Council. Lyra's heart beat faster. She had seen countless matches, countless competitors, and still, nothing compared to the anticipation of this day. The results were more than a ranking. They were a declaration. Only the best, the most capable, the most adaptable, could step into the Guardian's role. The lights dimmed slightly, and the giant screen flickered to life. A holographic interface displayed scores, genetic compatibility, and psychological analysis. The first names scrolled across, mostly alien. Lyra watched with a mixture of pride and apprehension as creatures with powers beyond human imagination were ranked. Telepaths with incredible intuition, shapeshifters who adapted instantly to new environments, and cyber-enhanced warriors who could process information faster than any organic mind. Then came the humans. Their scores were modest at first glance. They did not possess the alien traits that fascinated the galaxy. They lacked natural weapons or extraordinary mental abilities. Yet, Lyra's eyes were drawn to one human, Evan Kale. Unlike the others, Evan's profile was unremarkable in data alone. His physical strength was average. His mental tests showed only cleverness, not genius. But the raw determination in his psychological readings made Lyra pause. He had something the others did not. A human spark. The screen paused on Evan's results. Lyra leaned forward, studying the numbers carefully. Something about the way his adaptability score, combined with his decision-making patterns, caught her attention. It was subtle, almost invisible to an alien eye. But she understood it immediately. This human could succeed where others failed, because he thought differently. A hush fell over the room as the final results were revealed. The top competitors rose one by one. Aliens murmured in surprise when they saw humans climb the ranks, despite their modest natural abilities. Lyra's pulse quickened. Her hand trembled slightly as the final name flashed across the screen. Evan Kale. Human final candidate. You are my final choice, Lyra whispered, barely able to control the shake in her voice. Evan froze, staring at the screen in disbelief. His heart raced. Humans had never been chosen for this honor before. They were often considered clever, yes, but fragile, limited. For Lyra to select a human as the ultimate guardian was almost revolutionary. The alien delegates stirred, voices rising in soft questions and murmurs. Many could not hide their doubt. Lyra turned to face the council members in the front row, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Humanity has always been underestimated, she said. But in this trial, only one candidate shows the unique combination of courage, intelligence, and adaptability we need. That candidate is Evan Kale. Some aliens frowned, their skin changing color in irritation. One of the taller ones hissed softly, questioning the logic. Commander, you cannot rely on raw determination alone. Strength and special abilities matter in the Guardian's role. Lyra met the alien's gaze without flinching. Perhaps, she said, but strength alone cannot save civilizations from themselves. A Guardian must anticipate, adapt, and inspire. In these qualities, humans are unmatched. Evan blinked at her. a mixture of awe and disbelief on his face. He wanted to speak, to thank her, but words failed him. For centuries, his people had struggled to prove themselves in the galaxy. Today, in a single moment, humanity's potential had been recognized. The chamber slowly emptied after the announcement, leaving Lyra and Evan standing near the center. Outside the observation area, the hallways buzzed with activity as competitors processed the results. Lyra motioned for Evan to follow her. "Come with me," she said quietly. "There is much you must prepare for." The two walked in silence through the corridor, the sound of their boots echoing against the metallic walls. Evan stole glances at the alien delegations still scattered across the halls. Some looked angry, others curious. All had noticed the unusual decision. Finally, Lyra stopped in front of a large door marked Training and Trials Wing. "This is where your preparation begins," she explained. "Being chosen as the Guardian is not just an honor, it is a responsibility. You will face challenges unlike any competition you have encountered. These are tests not just of strength, but of mind, heart, and spirit." Evan swallowed nervously. I'll do my best," he said, trying to steady his voice. Lyra gave a small, encouraging nod. "You will do more than that. Humans have a way of achieving the impossible. You will see it in yourself soon enough." Inside the wing, holographic projections of past trials floated in midair. Each simulation depicted scenarios where competitors had to make split-second decisions to save lives, navigate hostile environments, or negotiate complex alien conflicts. Most failed due to overconfidence or reliance on powers they did not truly understand. Humans, Lyra noted, often excelled because they relied on creativity and collaboration, rather than just inherent ability. "Your first simulation will begin shortly," Lyra said. "It is designed to test adaptability. Remember, the galaxy does not reward raw strength alone. It rewards those who can survive, learn, and inspire others." Evan nodded and stepped into the training chamber. The holographic environment shifted instantly, creating a rugged alien landscape filled with treacherous cliffs, unstable ground, and strange alien creatures that darted in and out of view. He clenched his fists and took a deep breath. His mind raced, analyzing every possible approach. The first trial began. Evan observed the creatures' patterns carefully, noting their movements and behaviors. Instead of rushing in, he used a combination of clever distractions and improvised tools to navigate the terrain. Rocks and fallen branches became bridges. Shadows and light became camouflage. Slowly but surely, he advanced, overcoming obstacles that had defeated more capable competitors in the past. Lyra watched from the observation booth, a proud smile forming on her lips. She could see the spark in Evan's eyes, the spark that set humans apart. It was not just skill, it was ingenuity, courage, and resilience. Hours passed as Evan completed the simulation. Each challenge became progressively harder, forcing him to improvise more and rely on his intuition. At one point, a simulated alien predator lunged from above, catching him off guard. But instead of panicking, he grabbed a loose panel, swung it as a shield, and diverted the attack. The audience watching the simulation gasped. Finally, Evan reached the end of the trial. The holographic environment dissolved, leaving him in the chamber, breathing heavily but triumphant. Lyra entered the room, clapping slowly. "Well done," she said. "You have just demonstrated exactly why I chose you. You think, adapt, and act under pressure. These are the qualities that no alien skill can replace." Evan looked at her, overwhelmed. I didn't think I could do it," he admitted. "You did more than think," Lyra replied. "You acted, you adapted, you survived. And that is why you will become the Guardian." As the day ended, the two walked back to their quarters. The galaxy outside seemed vast and intimidating. But for the first time, Evan felt hope. Humans had always been underestimated, always considered fragile and weak. But today proved otherwise. Today, a human had been recognized for the potential that had always existed within their species. Lyra glanced at him and smiled. "Rest now. Tomorrow, The real challenges begin. The blood match results were only the beginning. The galaxy will test you, Evan. But I believe humans will rise to every challenge. Evan nodded, determination shining in his eyes. For the first time, he realized that being chosen was not just an honor, it was a chance to show the galaxy what humans could truly do. And somewhere deep in his chest, a spark of pride ignited. Humanity was no longer underestimated. Today, it had taken its first step toward proving that the impossible was possible. The alien world known as Veyron 5 stretched out beneath the landing craft. An endless expanse of jagged mountains and deep, shadowed valleys. Mist clung to the peaks like silken veils, and strange, glowing plants dotted the landscape. The air was thin, tinged with chemicals that made breathing slightly difficult. This was no ordinary training ground. It was the final trial zone, designed to push the limits of every candidate who hoped to become the guardian of the Interstellar Council. Commander Lyra Dolan stood at the edge of the landing platform, her eyes scanning the horizon. She had prepared for countless simulations and controlled exercises, but nothing could match the unpredictability of this world. Here, the terrain itself could kill you, and the environment shifted faster than any AI could predict. Stay alert, she warned the small group of humans who had accompanied Evan Kale. Every step counts. This trial is not about strength alone. It is about adaptability, observation, and teamwork. Your survival depends on all three. Evan nodded, gripping the straps of his backpack tightly. The moment he had been chosen as the guardian had seemed like an achievement in itself. But now reality struck hard. The galaxy did not reward luck or hope, it rewarded action, ingenuity, and courage. Humans might be underestimated, but here, their unique qualities would be tested more than ever. The team disembarked from the craft, boots crunching on the sharp, metallic stones. Already, the first challenge revealed itself. A narrow ridge jutted over a deep canyon, shrouded in swirling mist. The path ahead was unstable. Rocks could give way at any moment. Evan scanned the terrain carefully. Most competitors would rush forward, relying on their physical ability to leap and balance, but he remembered the lesson Lyra had drilled into him. Observe first. Act second. Follow me, Evan said calmly, stepping onto the ridge. He placed his weight carefully, testing each rock before committing. The others hesitated, but followed his lead. Every step was slow, deliberate, and precise. Halfway across, a rock gave way beneath one of the team members. Instinctively, Evan grabbed her arm and pulled her to safety. The moment passed, but the lesson was clear. Humans survive by thinking, not just by fighting. Once across the ridge, the team entered a dense forest of alien flora. The trees glowed faintly, and some emitted soft pulses of light. Suddenly, a group of predatory creatures emerged. They were sleek, quadrupedal hunters with glowing eyes and metallic claws. They did not attack immediately but circled, testing the humans. Most alien competitors would have relied on raw strength or speed. Evan's mind raced. He noticed a thick vine hanging from a nearby tree. With a quick motion, he cut it using his survival knife and rigged it to swing across a narrow path, creating a distraction. The predators lunged at the moving vine instead of the humans, giving them enough time to move into safer terrain. Lyra, watching from a hovering observation drone, nodded with quiet approval. This was exactly why she had chosen him. Humans solved problems creatively, often using the environment itself as a tool. Hours passed as the team faced challenge after challenge. They navigated toxic swamps that burned the skin, crossed rivers filled with magnetic currents that could pull a human under in seconds, and climbed cliffs with surfaces that shifted like liquid. At each stage, Evan used observation and quick thinking rather than brute force. When one alien predator ambushed them, he used a glowing plant to create a blinding flash of light, sending it running back into the forest. During a brief rest, Evan sat on a rocky outcrop, catching his breath. Lyra approached quietly. "You're doing more than survive," she said. "You're thriving in conditions where others would fail. Humans have a gift. You adapt. You improvise. You inspire others to do the same." Evan shook his head, exhausted. I don't know if I can keep this up. The terrain, the creatures, it's endless. And the alien competitors, they're stronger, faster. Lyra smiled, a small, confident smile. Exactly. That is why I chose you. Strength alone does not win these trials. Every alien here is powerful. But humans think differently. You find solutions where others see only obstacles. As evening fell on Veyron 5, the team entered a canyon, filled with shifting sands that emitted strange electromagnetic pulses. Communication devices failed intermittently, and the walls themselves seemed alive, moving subtly to trap anyone who entered. Panic would have set in for most competitors, not for humans. Evan quickly organized the team, using sticks to mark safe paths, and memorizing patterns of movement in the sand. Each step was carefully calculated. Suddenly, the sand shifted violently, revealing a deep crevice. A human teammate fell. Clinging desperately to the edge, without hesitation, Evan grabbed a rope from his pack and anchored it to a sturdy rock, pulling her to safety. The alien competitors would have panicked, or worse, tried to brute force their way out. The humans, led by Evan, relied on teamwork and foresight. As night fell, they set up a small camp, using the glowing flora to illuminate the area. Around the fire, the humans shared stories, laughed quietly, and prepared for the next day. The aliens, if they had needed rest, would likely have slept alone, unable to rely on others. Lyra watched from her drone, noting the contrast. Humans thrived not just because of intellect, but because of empathy and collaboration. The next morning brought the toughest challenge yet. A simulated alien invasion, projected through holographic projections over the canyon, demanded immediate action. Alien competitors tried to rely on individual skill, rushing into the conflict. Humans, however, formed a plan. Evan assigned roles, using each person's strengths wisely. Some created distractions, some set traps, and some led the simulated civilians to safety. The holographic enemies adapted, but so did the humans. They improvised at every turn, turning the environment into a tactical advantage. One critical moment arrived when a simulated energy storm threatened to engulf the entire valley. The aliens panicked. Evan noticed a cave that could serve as a safe refuge. Using vines, ropes, and teamwork, he led the humans into the cave just as the storm passed overhead. The aliens were unable to respond with such quick thinking, losing critical points in the trial. Lyra approached Evan afterward, her expression serious but proud. This is why you are my choice. You do not rely on what you are given. You make your own path. The galaxy underestimates humans. And that is their mistake. Your creativity, courage, and collaboration make you stronger than many aliens who have powers you cannot even imagine. Evan nodded quietly. Exhaustion weighed heavily on him, but a sense of purpose burned brighter. Every trial had pushed him to his limits, and every time, humans had prevailed not through natural gifts, but through ingenuity, perseverance, and heart. The day ended with a final exercise. A simulated alien council crisis, where multiple species were at odds. Each competitor had to negotiate peace, prevent disaster, and make moral decisions under pressure. The alien candidates struggled with compromise, relying on dominance or intimidation. Evan, however, listened carefully, understood the needs of each party, and proposed solutions that satisfied everyone. It was human diplomacy at its finest, flexible, creative, and empathetic. Lyra watched silently as the trial concluded. Humans had proven themselves not just capable, but essential. Their success was a reminder that the galaxy's greatest strength might not lie in raw power, but in imagination, teamwork, and resilience. As the team settled for the night, Evan looked at the sky above Veyron 5. Stars stretched endlessly, each one a distant world, a distant challenge. For the first time, he felt confident that humanity could survive, even thrive. In this galaxy, they had faced creatures stronger than themselves, landscapes more dangerous than imagination could describe, and challenges that demanded quick thinking and courage. And they had prevailed. Lyra joined him, placing a hand on his shoulder. Tomorrow, the final evaluation begins. You have shown me what humans are capable of, but the galaxy will now watch. Every species will watch. They will doubt you. They may even oppose you. But I have no doubt, humanity is ready. Evan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He thought of every human who had been overlooked, underestimated, or dismissed in the galaxy's eyes. Today, he had proven something important, but tomorrow would prove even more. Let them watch, he said quietly. They will see that humans are more than they ever imagined. Lyra smiled, a proud glint in her eyes. Exactly. And when they see, the galaxy will change. The night on Veyron 5 was quiet, but full of anticipation. Tomorrow, the humans would face their greatest trial yet. But tonight, they rested knowing one truth. Their greatest strength was not in powers or speed, but in their minds, their hearts, and their unbreakable will. And somewhere deep in the shadows of the alien forest, unseen observers whispered in disbelief. Humans had survived where others had failed. They had adapted where others had faltered, and the galaxy would never underestimate them again. The grand chamber of the Interstellar Council stretched far above the tallest spires of the space station. Light from the nearby dying star streamed through vast crystal windows, casting golden patterns on the polished floor. Delegates from countless alien species filled the seats, their expressions a mixture of curiosity, skepticism, and quiet awe. Today, a human would stand where no human had ever stood before. The guardian of the Interstellar Council. Commander Lyra Dolan walked beside Evan Kale as they entered the chamber. Her hand rested lightly on his shoulder, a gesture of both reassurance and pride. The murmurs of the alien delegates rose, some questioning, some incredulous. Humans had always been underestimated, often seen as fragile, unpredictable, and inferior. But today, Evan carried the potential of his entire species. And he understood that every action, every word, would define how the galaxy viewed humanity. The council president, an imposing figure with crystalline skin and glowing eyes, spoke in a calm, resonant voice. We gather to appoint the next guardian. This role demands courage, intelligence, and the ability to navigate crises that threaten the stability of our galaxy. Today, we will witness a choice unlike any before. Lyra stepped forward. The choice has already been made, she announced. The trials are complete. One candidate has proven their ability to adapt, think creatively, and inspire others in the face of impossible challenges. That candidate is, she paused dramatically, letting the weight of the moment sink in. Evan Kale, human. A hush fell across the chamber. Alien delegates shifted uneasily, some muttering objections. One of the council members, a towering figure with iridescent wings, demanded, Commander Dolan, a human cannot possibly hold this responsibility. They lack the natural abilities necessary for interstellar crises. Lyra met the alien's gaze steadily. Natural abilities alone do not define a guardian. It is not the power we are born with, but the choices we make, the courage we show, and the intelligence we apply that ensures survival. Humans have proven themselves where others failed. Evan stepped forward, feeling the eyes of every species upon him. His palms were slightly sweaty, but his voice was steady. I do not claim to be stronger or faster than any of you, he said, but I can promise this. I will think, I will adapt, and I will do everything in my power to protect the galaxy and its people. Humans have always risen to challenges, not through strength, but through perseverance, ingenuity, and teamwork. Today, I will continue to do so. The delegates remained silent, watching him closely. Some frowned, still skeptical, while others exchanged glances that reflected curiosity and cautious respect. The chamber was tense, as though the fate of the galaxy itself hung in the balance. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Outside the chamber, sensors detected a massive fleet of unknown ships approaching at high speed. The council had expected threats, but this was different. The ships were unlike any technology previously recorded. swift, efficient, and heavily armed. Panic might have set in for many delegates. Not for Evan. Lyra's hand was on his shoulder again. "This is your first true test," she whispered. "The Council watches, but the galaxy watches even more. Every decision you make now will define what it means to be a Guardian." Evan nodded, already analyzing the situation. He studied the incoming fleet's formation, movement patterns, and potential weaknesses. Most alien species would have relied on overwhelming firepower or defensive shields. Evan considered the environment, the Council's resources, and his team's abilities. He began issuing calm, precise instructions. "Deploy energy shields in a rotating pattern to confuse their sensors," he commanded. "Redirect supply drones to create decoy signals. Focus the fleet's attention on isolated sectors while we prepare our countermeasures. Communication teams, prepare to negotiate if possible. Every second counts." The chamber watched in astonishment as humans and allied species followed Evan's strategy with precision. Within minutes, the invading fleet's advance faltered. Their sensors were scrambled, their formations broken, and communication lines intercepted. Evan's plan had created confusion and delay without a single direct confrontation. One alien delegate whispered to another, "I did not believe it possible, but the human thinks like no other species I have ever encountered." The fleet attempted to regroup, but Evan anticipated their moves. Using holographic projections, he simulated multiple attack paths, choosing the one that minimized risk and maximized efficiency. Small, targeted strikes disabled critical components of the fleet without unnecessary loss of life. Every action was calculated, yet adaptable. Lyra watched with quiet pride. She had seen Evan excel in simulations and trials, but this was different. The stakes were real. The lives of billions, perhaps trillions, depended on human ingenuity and leadership. Yet he did not falter. Hours passed as the threat was neutralized. By the time the final ships retreated, the chamber erupted in a mixture of applause, stunned silence, and murmurs of approval. Even the most skeptical alien delegates could not deny the brilliance of Evan's strategy. Humanity had not only survived, they had saved the Council and countless worlds through intelligence, adaptability, and courage. The Council president approached, his expression unreadable but his voice calm. "Evan Kale, human, you have demonstrated qualities that surpass many of our strongest species. Strength and natural ability are limited, but your adaptability, foresight, and ability to inspire others are boundless. By unanimous decision, you are confirmed as the Guardian of the Interstellar Council." Under Die and our Stellar Council, Lyra stepped forward, her eyes shining. "I told you the galaxy would see. Humanity is ready." Evan nodded, overwhelmed by the weight of responsibility. "I will not fail," he said quietly, but firmly. "I will protect the Council, the galaxy, and all life within it, to the best of my ability." Delegates approached to offer congratulations, and even those who had doubted him now bowed respectfully. He could see admiration in their eyes, tinged with awe. Humanity had finally claimed a place in the galaxy, not through brute force, but through the qualities that made them human: ingenuity, courage, and heart. Over the next few weeks, Evan settled into his role. His first order of business was ensuring that humanity's methods, creativity, teamwork, and adaptability were integrated into Council operations. Alien species, initially skeptical, began to notice the value in human approaches. Simulations that relied solely on physical strength often failed, while strategies guided by intelligence, empathy, and improvisation succeeded. Slowly, a shift occurred. Humans were no longer the underdogs. They were respected partners in maintaining peace and stability. One evening, Lyra visited Evan in the observation tower, overlooking the stars. "You've done more than survive," she said. "You've shown the galaxy who humans really are." Evan looked at the countless stars, each one a world with infinite possibilities and challenges. "It's only the beginning," he replied. "Humans have so much to offer. We think differently. We find solutions where others see problems. And now, they finally understand that, Lyra smiled, and they will remember it. For the first time, humanity has earned its place as not just participants, but as leaders in the galaxy. Your journey will inspire generations of humans and aliens alike. The galaxy outside the observation tower was quiet, but the echoes of change were beginning to ripple. Word of humanity's success in the trials and in defending the Council spread quickly. Humans who had once been dismissed or overlooked were now invited to serve as advisors, negotiators, and strategists across countless star systems. Their ingenuity, courage, and ability to adapt became legendary. In private moments, Evan reflected on the journey. He remembered the day Lyra first told him he was her final choice. He remembered the trials on Veyron 5, the predators, the shifting terrain, the simulated crises. Every challenge had shaped him, strengthened him, and revealed the power that humanity held not in sheer strength, but in heart, mind, and will. As the sun of the dying star set behind the council chamber, Evan spoke softly to Lyra. We've shown them the potential humans have, but it's bigger than us. It's about every human who ever had to prove themselves, who was underestimated, who dared to rise against impossible odds. We carry that with us. Lyra placed her hand on his shoulder. Exactly. And now, the galaxy will carry that story forward. Humanity has arrived, not as followers, not as weaklings, but as equals and as leaders. And the best part? This is just the beginning. Evan looked out at the stars, feeling a surge of determination. Then we will continue, he said. We will continue to protect, to innovate, to inspire. Humanity will not just survive. We will shape the future of this galaxy. The Interstellar Council chamber, once filled with doubt and disbelief, now stood as a symbol of change. Evan Kale, a human, the Guardian, had proven that adaptability, courage, and ingenuity were the true marks of strength. Across countless worlds, humans were no longer underestimated. They were recognized, respected, and ready to lead. And as the stars shone above, the galaxy witnessed a new era, a future shaped not by the strongest species, but by the species that dared to think, to innovate, and to rise to every challenge: humanity.